What's up, NFL draft fans? It's your boy Jay Tuck, and today I want to talk about an interesting prospect in Mason Graham out of the University of Michigan. Now, I can already hear some Cowboys fans saying, we don't want to hear about a Michigan player. We don't need another defensive player, defensive tackle out of Michigan, Taco this, Mozzie that, Schoon this. But surprisingly, a lot of Cowboys fans have been asking me to break down this prospect, and I think once you watch the film, you'll realize this isn't Mozzie. This is completely different caliber of player. Now, Mason Graham's only 21 years old. He's a junior, 6'3", 320 pounds, out of California, and he's played a lot of games for the Michigan Wolverines. Out of 37 games, he had about 25 starts, give or take, right? Even started as some sophomore, started as a freshman, so he has a lot of exposure of playing at a high level, championship caliber team in Michigan, right? The thing that I love the most when you watch him play, he is a high motor guy. If you watch my film sessions, if you watch my draft content for quite some time, you know that motor, effort. That's the way to Jay Tuck's heart, and Mason Graham definitely has that. He has all the badges of honor you can think of: All-American, first team this, first team that, lot impact. The awards, the achievement is there, but when you really watch the film, it really coexists to the caliber of player and the leadership that you're seeing when it comes to Mason Graham. So let's go ahead and get over into the film. So the very first thing that you're going to notice about Mason Graham, like I said, is the athleticism, and he's a high motor guy with high gas mileage. And what do I mean by that? Some people have initial bursts, right? They have initial bursts, but then after that, they kind of burn out, right? Mozzie Smith was one of those players. That is not the same when it comes to Mason Graham. When you watch his snap to finish, it's phenomenal, y'all, and you definitely like the quality traits, rankings and consensus and this and that. We still got college football, we still got bowl games coming up, but we're kind of just looking at things early. Thus far, I've scouted Michigan State, Ohio State, USC that we're watching now, and also Iowa. But once we get to draft season, we'll be pretty much watch all these games of the season. But like I said, the thing that I love the most about Mason Graham is the motor, the pursuit, the effort is there. Watch him spin off and run to the ball, and go make a play, right? So he didn't give up. And like I said, a lot of defensive tackles right here, I'm giving up, right? I'm a trot. We watched, Deion Walker, right? We saw some of that in some instances. That's not the case with Mason Graham. He's going to pursue toward the ball, flow towards the ball. Now, the one thing we'll see it constantly when you watch his film, he likes to spin off of these blockers a lot, right? So you'll see that the spin, you'll see him do this quite a lot, right? So sometimes you don't want to do that because you can get spun out your gap in your assignment, right? But for this most part, you're just trying to shed the block and pursue to the ball carrier. And that's the thing I love the most about Mason Graham. On this play right here, it kind of shows, taking on blockers, being able to anchor in. Now, I feel like sometimes he does lose his leverage. He does lose his anchor, right? You're giving your pretty much your side, right? Your side ribs right there, that gives you an easy shot for these offensive linemen to kind of move you out there. But even with that, right, he gains his balance and flows to the ball, right? So I feel like, that's going to be an area of focus, just anchoring in a little bit stronger anchor, a little bit stronger base. But like I said, we want defensive tackles that are flowing to the ball, trying to make things happen. And he's a balanced defensive tackle. He's not just a guy that is just a run stopper. He's not just a guy that's a pass rusher. I think he had like 35 tackles thus far and like 3.5 sacks on this season. So he's well balanced. Now, he's not going to be a sack monster, right? But he's a guy that's going to be able to help in the run, but also help with the pass rush as well. And you'll see that this is the show, y'all. This is the show. This is what people are coming to see. This is once again kind of showing all those athletic traits on display. The snap to finish, quick off the ball, bam, good push, hands, back of the shoulder pad, swipe, break down, pursue, right? That's the show. That's the Mason Graham. That's the money. That's why a lot of people are talking about him from this play right here in full speed. Bam, right? Beating up on that poor center, pursuing the quarterback and forcing the errant throw. I think this is what's going to get scouts excited, right? And me too, right? Like I said, the athleticism is there. Watch his hips, right? Watch how fluid he is when he comes off the line of scrimmage. And the thing that I like about him, he has a good job of IQ reading high hat, low hat. So what do I mean by high hat, low hat? You see the center, his hat's going up high, right? So when you see that hat coming up high, that represents, okay, they're about to be in their pass sets. Okay, you're able to read it Boom, set them up, right? Because you have a two-way go. Back of the shoulder pad with force, swim, break down, pursue. You know, that's IQ, that's athleticism, that's effort. That's the whole effing package coming together for Mason Graham right there. And that's why teams are going to be excited to get this player, this caliber player on their roster. On this play right here, same thing, right? You're going to see that pass rush ability, bull rush, and just pursue. And make something happen, right? Not giving up on the ball, right? Not giving up on the play. Just pursuing and trying to find the ball and make the tackle. And that's the thing. He's a strong tackle. Like I said, his snap to finish is his strong point, right? He comes off the ball quickly. He has good hands. He doesn't have great hands. I think there's some work to really be done when it comes to his hands, right? But once he wraps up on the ball carrier, he tackles with force. Like I said, that might come from his wrestling background as well. This play right here, kind of showing once again, though I talked about, right? When he gets off the ball, engages in double teams, he likes to kind of spin and turn his back, right? So sometimes you don't want to do this. Now, some coaches could be coaching this, right? We don't know what's being coached at Michigan, but ideally you don't want to spin around because you can't locate the ball carrier right now. You know, you can't see where the ball is at. You know, you're kind of just turned around, disoriented, right? So that's kind of one thing you want to kind of clean up when it comes to Mason Graham is some of the techniques, anchoring in a little bit stronger with the base and disengaging from blockers. You're kind of getting caught up wrestling. And this is what I'll say, you know, when you watch Mason Graham, especially when you watch the Penn State film, it's like, and Mazi kind of went through this as well, you know, and I hate to kind of keep tossing in Mazi, but I know we have a lot of Cowboys fans watching this, is that, you know, sometimes as a young defensive tackle, you're able to play with your strengths, right? You're able to play with your God-given ability. But at the NFL level, you're going against a grown man that has God-given ability as well. So you're not going to be able to out-muscle, out-bully everybody. And that's why you rarely see defensive tackles kind of hit the ground running. I mean, you go to Philadelphia, you know, and Jordan Davis and some of these other guys, right? They rarely hit the ground running. They have to learn it from a technique standpoint. And then once they're able to combine their technique with their athletic power and abilities, then that's when it all clicks together, like Chris Jones, right? And Quentin Williams, like they didn't just hit the ground running. So I'll say when it comes to Mason Graham, he has the package. He has the force. He has the IQ. He has the effort. He has the motor. Once you add the technique, this could be of a hell of a player on an NFL roster. In this play right here, just that push, driving another player all the way back, right? Driving. Bam, look how far he's driving, almost into the quarterback slap, right? So, you know, they just call that pushing the shed. So I have so many film clips broken down, y'all. I don't want to make this like a 40-minute video. We are still in the appetizer phase. We will get to all these film clips when we get the draft, when we start doing our 2-hour, 3-hour live draft shows. But I want to give you guys a preview of Mason Graham, man. Like I said, phenomenal player. He has all the intangibles. He has the things that you want. Probably right now, he'll probably be a top 10 pick. We'll see if that shakes out as we gear up closer to draft season. But at the end of the day, this is definitely a player that can come in and help any NFL roster, man. So it's your boy, Jay Tuck. Comment, like, subscribe. Follow me on all social media platforms at JTuck151. If you love draft content, you are in the right space. So turn that notification bell so you do not miss out. I want everyone to stay safe, stay blessed, stay encouraged, and draft season is finally here. Let's go.